Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you here at the NDTV Defence Summit 2025 at the Pavilion Taj Palace, New Delhi. This year's theme, Pioneering Atmanirbhar Defence and Strategic Dominance in Modern Warfare, could not be more timely. Over the next few hours, we'll revisit Operation Sindoor, a defining moment in India's modern military history, and explore the strategies, the technologies, and the doctrines that are shaping our nation's future in defense and security. But before we begin, here is a shout out to our sponsors who have made this summit possible. NDTV Defence Summit 2025 is co-powered by Tata Communications, Adani Defence and Aerospace and Samtel Avionics, celebration partner Radico Khaitan, wardrobe partner Reed & Taylor, gold partner Sri Krishnaya Chetty Group of Jewelers, aerial defence partner Paras Defence, state partner Government of Uttar Pradesh, associate partners Exicom Technologies India Private Limited and ST Telemedia Global Data Centres. Now, let me call on stage my colleague Shivaru, Managing Editor, NDTV, for the opening address.
Thank you, Ankit. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome. It is our greatest privilege to open this keynote session this morning with the person who is among us today. Welcome, Rajnath ji. One of the most respected leaders of our time, Rajnath Singh, as India's Defence Minister. He has presided over some of the biggest landmarks in our defence journey, from taking the toughest calls on self-reliance, Atmanirbharta, to steering record defence production and exports, to guiding the nation through Operation Sindoor. His tenure has been defined by conviction, courage, and clarity of purpose. And there could be no better person, believe me, to guide us through this moment of transformation than Rajnath Singh ji. It is therefore a privilege for us at NDTV to welcome him to the NDTV Defence Summit, to share his vision for India's security future in a rapidly changing world. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Raksha Mantri, Rajnath Singh ji, to deliver his inaugural address.
Thank you very much, Sri Rahul Kamal, CEO and Editor-in-Chief, और हमारे डिफेंस सेक्रेटरी श्री राजेश कुमार सिंह भी यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं। यहाँ मौजूद सारे हमारे इंडस्ट्री लीडर्स, पत्रकार मित्रों, देवियों और सज्जनों, एनडीटीवी डिफेंस कॉन्क्लेव में मैं दूसरी बार आ रहा हूँ। पिछली बार की तुलना में इस बार के आयोजन का स्केल मुझे कुछ बढ़ा हुआ लग रहा है। एक डिफेंस कॉन्क्लेव आयोजित करने में इससे बढ़िया टाइमिंग मैं समझता हूं कि और कोई दूसरी नहीं हो सकती है। यहाँ एक और भारत की सेनाओं ने अभी कुछ ही महीने पहले पूरी दुनिया के सामने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के माध्यम से अपने शौर्य और पराक्रम का परिचय दिया है। वहीं दूसरी ओर पूरी दुनिया में कई स्थानों पर आज संघर्ष की स्थिति बनी हुई है। यहाँ तक कि ट्रेड को भी लेकर एक युद्ध जैसी स्थिति बनी हुई है। आज के इस डिफेंस कॉन्क्लेव की थीम है वॉरफेयर इन द 21st सेंचुरी। आप में से बहुत लोगों को वह ट्रांजिशन पीरियड याद होगा जब दुनिया 1999 से 2020 में जा रही थी। वह वर्ष मैं मानता हूँ पूरी सेंचुरी का ट्रांजिशन था, और साथ ही साथ चुनौतियाँ क्या होती हैं यह हमें तब समझ में आता है जब पुरानी चुनौतियों से हम नई चुनौतियों की ओर बढ़ते हैं। साथियों, समय बीतने के साथ पुरानी चुनौतियां हमें छोटी लगने लगती हैं। अगर यदि मैं इस सेंचुरी की बात करूं तो मेरा यह मानना है यह अब तक की सबसे डिसरप्टिव सेंचुरी रही है, और यह वह सेंचुरी है जिसमें हमने कोविड महामारी जैसी बड़ी चुनौती दी। एक समय ऐसा भी आया जब पूरा विश्व एक लॉकडाउन हो गया। आतंकवाद ने भी इस सदी में भयावह रूप दिखाया और पूरे विश्व को इसने दहला दिया। और आज यह दुनिया इतनी तेजी से बदल रही है कि हर दिन नई चुनौतियां हमारे सामने आ खड़ी हो रही हैं, चाहे पैंडेमिक्स हो, चाहे टेररिज्म हो या रीजनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स। हर मोर्चे पर मैं मानता हूं कि यह सदी अभी तक की सबसे ज़्यादा अस्थिर और चुनौतीपूर्ण साबित हुई है। ऐसी परिस्थितियों में अगर हम आज की स्ट्रेटजिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स की बात करें तो यह सिद्ध हो जाता है कि आत्मनिर्भरता आज के समय में कोई विकल्प नहीं है। आत्मनिर्भरता केवल एक एडवांटेज नहीं है, बल्कि यह एक नेसेसिटी बन चुकी है। साथियों, मैं समझता हूं कि किसी भी पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप का मूल्यांकन उसके विजन से होता है। 2014 में हमारी सरकार ने आत्मनिर्भर भारत और मेक इन इंडिया का जो अभियान शुरू किया, उसकी अहमियत आज हमें और ज़्यादा महसूस हो रही है। साथियों, शुरू से ही हमने आत्मनिर्भरता के अपने दृष्टिकोण को एक कम्प्रेहेंसिव रूप में देखा है। इसमें हमारे संपन्न राष्ट्र की कल्पना भी निहित है, चाहे वह डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर हो या क्रिटिकल टेक्नोलॉजी के विकास का क्षेत्र हो। देश के रक्षा मंत्री होने के नाते मैं पूरे आत्मविश्वास के साथ यह मैं कह सकता हूं कि रक्षा क्षेत्र में यह दृष्टिकोण एक क्रांतिकारी बदलाव लेकर आया है। और साथियों, अब तक हमने रक्षा के क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता को बढ़ावा देने के लिए कई पॉजिटिव इंडिजिनाइजेशन लिस्ट भी जारी की है, जिसके अंतर्गत यह फैसला किया गया है कि करीब 5,500 से अधिक ऐसी वस्तुएं अब इंपोर्ट नहीं की जाएंगी, बल्कि उन्हें एक तय सीमा के अंदर भारत में ही, भारत की धरती पर ही उन्हें बनाया जाएगा। और आपको यह जानकर खुशी होगी कि अब तक 3,000 से अधिक आइटम्स जिन्हें पहले इंपोर्ट किया जाता था, अब भारत में स्वदेशी रूप से बनाई जा रही हैं और वारशिप्स के निर्माण में भी हम पूरी तरह आत्मनिर्भर हो चुके हैं। साथियों, आज के समय में डिफेंस सेक्टर जॉब्स क्रिएशन, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इकोसिस्टम और हाई इन टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन का एक महत्वपूर्ण और बड़ा जनरेटर है। जैसा कि मैंने पहले भी कहा है कि डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में प्राइवेट सेक्टर का योगदान भी लगातार यह बढ़ता जा रहा है। यह केवल नेशनल सिक्योरिटी के दृष्टिकोण से नहीं, बल्कि इकोनॉमिक सेल्फ रिलायंस के दृष्टिकोण से भी एक गेम चेंजर है, ऐसा मैं मानता हूँ। और मैं इस बात को और भी बल देकर कह सकता हूँ कि अभी हाल ही में हमने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान अपनी डिफेंस कैपेबिलिटी और प्रिपेयर्डनेस का एक नमूना देखा है। हमारी फोर्सेज ने अपने स्वदेशी इक्विपमेंट के साथ अपने टारगेट्स पर जिस प्रकार पॉजिटिव स्ट्राइक्स किया है, वह दिखाता है कि एक विजन, लंबी तैयारी और कोऑर्डिनेशन के बिना कोई भी मिशन सफल नहीं हो सकता है। आने वाले वर्षों में भारत न केवल अपनी रक्षा जरूरतें खुद पूरी करेगा, बल्कि दुनिया के देशों के लिए एक भरोसेमंद पार्टनर भी बनेगा। और आज यहाँ इस डिफेंस समिट में मैं समझता हूँ हम सबका यह दायित्व है कि हम इस सोच को और मजबूत करें। एनडीटीवी ने इस विषय को मंच देकर मैं मानता हूँ कि एक महत्वपूर्ण पहल की है, और मुझे विश्वास है कि यह डिस्कशन आने वाली पीढ़ियों के लिए एक रोड मैप भी तैयार करेगा। इन्हीं विचारों और शुभकामनाओं के साथ मैं आयोजकों के प्रति मैं आभार प्रकट करता हूं कि आपने मुझे इस कार्यक्रम में आमंत्रित किया। सम्मेलन की सफलता की कामना करते हुए मैं यहीं पर अपनी बात को समाप्त करता हूं। आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
All right, having revisited the strategic and operational dimensions of Operation Sindoor, it's now time to look at the backbone of India's military preparedness, our policies, reforms, and the drive towards self-reliance. Our next session is titled In Defense of Atmanirbhar Bharat. It's an honor of the NDTV Defence Summit to welcome on stage the senior-most bureaucrat steering India's defence establishment, the Defence Secretary of India, Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh, and in conversation with him is my colleague Vishnu Shom. Can we have a big round of applause, please?
So it's wonderful to speak to you, sir. The Defence Minister just a few minutes back made an important point that there are no permanent friends or enemies in the world around us. This being the case, and given the churn that we see in international affairs right now, and without naming anyone in specific, how is Atmanirbharta not just a policy initiative, but a need? It just has to be done because at the end of the day, we can only trust ourselves.
First of all, good to be here with you, Vishnu. Obviously, it is a strategic imperative now that we need to be Atmanirbhar in order to maintain our strategic autonomy. The only way we can do it is by ensuring that the bulk of our defense needs are met within the country. And the government, since the Prime Minister Modi's government came into power in 2014, the focus on self-reliance has been unrelenting. During the last year, we spent about 1,60,000 odd crores of rupees in capex. 81% of that was spent within the country. And that trend will continue. Our benchmark is that 75% of our capex every year will be spent within the country. And even if we need to tie up technologies from abroad or bring in manufacturers or expertise or companies from abroad, it is very clear that they will have to invest and make in India in order to qualify for most of those orders.
Sir, I've been covering the defense sector for 30 years. And in the past 3 decades back, 25 years back, there was hardly a private player in the Indian defense space. But now we have increasingly a thriving private defense sector. How is it a national priority to work with our private players, given the fact that in many areas they are approaching or in some cases have exceeded the state of the art?
I look at it from two sides. One is the supply side, where the part of the general ease of doing business initiatives, ensuring, setting up defense industrial corridors, providing them with, better facilities, all that is the supply side. But the main thing about defense is, of course, that you have a single buyer, and that buyer can actually influence the pace and, mode of industrialization itself, which is how it is different from my previous stint, which was in DPIIT. Here, if you provide visibility to your domestic industry actually will grow. I mean, it's a very proximate and immediate policy instrument that you have. And what I can do to make that happen is to ensure that the private sector gets a level playing field, and we provide the contract visibility that they need.
How satisfied were you, relieved in a sense, by the fact that Indian defense manufacturers in the drone space, and I'm talking specifically about the drone space, came on board to deliver results which were fairly incredible?
Let's say that it was a reality check in many ways. In some ways, our air defense systems, including the legacy systems, worked very, very well. The layered systems worked. In drones, I would say that to achieve military-grade drones, we need to put in a lot of effort, and our drone manufacturers are aware of it. Right after Operation Sindoor, we've done a series of trials with many of our leading drone manufacturers. A small number of them have passed most of the tests, and they will get orders in terms of emergency procurements and hopefully as well fast-track procurements as well.
So just in the last couple of days, there is news of us investing very heavily in the Tejas program. The number which has done the rounds is approximately 62,000 crores for an additional massive purchase of Tejas Mark 1A fighters. How does that entire program now need to come to the table with the grade of manufacture and capability that you seek, because it's evolving technology and the challenges in the subcontinent and elsewhere are also evolving?
Well, I mean, as you would have known, Vishnu, the Tejas is really going to be a replacement or a workhorse for the Indian Air Force. In a way, it replaces the MiG-21. And the intent is to provide enough visibility to HAL to perfect this particular platform. We've got about 40 or 38 of them already in service in Sulur and near Coimbatore in South India. We have another 80 odd that are under manufacturing. 10 of them are ready with 2 engines delivered so far. Hopefully, the first 2 of those will get delivered with weapons integration by the end of September.
Sir, over the last few days, I was on INS Himgiri with Shiv and INS Udaygiri. So, A, your thoughts on technology development in construction of warships, and B, the importance of sustaining work chains.
Vishnu, right now there are 59 ships under construction in Indian shipyards. In fact, our entire pipeline is now in Indian shipyards, and in the future, whatever orders we are giving, the DSC has approved various new orders, including next generation corvettes, minesweeping vehicles, and next generation OPVs as well. All of them will be limited to domestic manufacturers. The other thing we've done is we've tried to ensure in many cases that we give orders on an L1, L2 basis, where we parcel out the order to 2 manufacturers as long as they meet the L1 price. Now, with those sort of innovations, we intend to ensure that parallel production happens. And I would say that the Navy in many ways has been at the forefront of Atmanirbharta in many ways in terms of its proactive approach to domestic shipbuilding.
It's been wonderful speaking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on everything. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank
sir.
you.
Our next session will explore how India's private sector is stepping up to build capacity, accelerate research and development, and create supply chains that serve both national needs and global markets. We are delighted to welcome a leader at the forefront of this transformation, the CEO of Adani Defence and Aerospace, Mr. Ashish Rajvanshi, and engaging him in this dialogue is my colleague Vishnu Shom yet again.
When you go about the business of proposing what India needs to have, and indeed in manufacturing and in seeking orders and in building a technology base, how do you have to be quick on your feet?
Good. Thank you, Vishnu. It's a pleasure to be here this morning and listening to the Honorable Defence Minister and the Defence Secretary. See, what we need to appreciate is what we are seeing as conflicts in the global market is not new. If we go into the history of mankind, warfare has been as old as the humanity itself. And the biggest accelerator of human evolution in terms of shaping our instincts, shaping our technology, and shaping our societies have been the warfare in the past. So we are standing at a turning point where, with the conflicts happening in Europe, the conflicts happening in Israel, but the most importantly, the shifting tides in the Indo-Pacific, the whole evolution in terms of defense has changed. What does that mean? It means India is crafting its own story. And this is, for me, a bigger opportunity than an adversity. In what way? Because we are investing in our own industry. We are investing in our own startups. For the first time, we are not talking percentage, 60% indigenization, 70% indigenization. We are saying 100% self-sufficiency. And what Honorable Defence Minister mentioned, this is no longer an option, this is survival for us.
Your thoughts on artificial intelligence and warfare? We see AI-enabled systems. We see small drones also have the ability increasingly of selecting targets. Going forward and continuing from your thoughts of increasingly robotic warfare, as AI evolves, how do you see the war front evolve as well?
I'll say the stage at which India is, or we in the global market are, we are going through a fundamental transition. How do we look at the future of warfare? It cannot be episodic. Even as an industry, we don't need to wait for the forces to come and say, this is what I'm looking for. But this is literally a joint capability roadmap development where we are providing as many inputs to the forces as what the demand are coming from. So the first part is, how do we define a long-term capability roadmap, which is jointly developed between industry, academia, and the customer. The second part is, this is not driven by a number of RFPs which are coming out based on the whims and fancies of the person who's sitting at the chair. A 15 years roadmap in defense cannot be wavered based on who is in MOD, who is in forces, or who is in the industry. And we walk towards that capability roadmap. And this capability roadmap has to be a mix of what's happening today in terms of the mechanical environment and the energetics. How do we start imbibing the next generation of cyber technology, artificial intelligence technology, and the space warfare?
A final question. We were discussing this a few days back, skilled manpower. It's all great to talk about all of these things. Somebody has to build it. Are our regional engineering colleges good enough? Where are you able to train people to manufacture at a certain quality, to understand the technologies? Because it's only going to go larger and larger. You need numbers of skilled workers. Where does that come from?
See, this is the most important element in defense manufacturing and especially high-tech manufacturing. Where's the talent coming from? The foundational IQ which is required for this industry is the highest in India. So the kids who are coming out of the engineering colleges, what we are seeing have an opportunity to work in the industry are actually best in class. And given the right platform, they are much superior to what we have seen in the Western market. What was not available to these people was the right platform. What was not available to them was the passion and the excitement to work for an industry which is literally building India for the future. Again, what Honorable Defence Minister mentioned, IDEX has been such a big success because it was a platform available to these young kids coming out of the college at the age of 21, given a funding of 5 crore rupees from the government, and being given an opportunity, bring me any design, any platform, and at least you can present it to the customer. Yeah. So talent is not a problem. The will and the mindset of the people who are actually imbibing talent is a problem.
Ashish, it's been wonderful speaking to you. There's so much to learn from Ashish when it comes to technology, the potential of Indian industry, the private sector. It all has to come together, work as a system. Our threats, our challenges are very real. They're all in front of us. Will we achieve that synergy in terms of sort of mating technology with our budgets, with our drive and our understanding to bring it all together? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.